Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Jeremy Bullock, back at it again with another episode of the Boy Time Podcast, and as always, I'm joined by Babby and Paul.
Hello.
We have a slam dunk episode for you today because we have breaking news that is like 2 days old. So,
That's
what we do here.
well, last week we gave our initial impressions of the hit game Cyberpunk 2077, but as of December 17th, a couple hours ago, they announced that it is being pulled from the PlayStation Store, and everybody who bought it on a Sony console, that being a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, is automatically getting a refund. So let's talk about that.
It's offering refunds. They don't forcefully take it from you.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Because that would be that would be a little bit of a yikes.
Yeah, that would have been iffy. Either way, this is a weird can of worms to unpack.
Well,
So
weren't they like? Okay, I think I actually have heard of this. Thank you, Reddit featured pat tab or whatever, trending. But wasn't it? They were saying, "Hey guys, you can if you want a refund, like you just request from like Microsoft or something, and we'll see what we can do." But apparently, Microsoft is like they don't do refunds, even though they say they do, or they're like really strict on it. So, am I just remembering this wrong, or?
Well, I don't know about the
CD
Microsoft
Projekt Red.
kerfuffle.
CD Projekt Red said if you got it digitally, that you should you can apply for a refund or whatever.
Oh.
They didn't guarantee one because they can't do that since they're not the makers of the console.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that Microsoft is like the worst like platform to try and get a refund on, and people are trying to get refunds for Cyberpunk, but they can't because Microsoft's like, nope, you opened the game, you don't get refund, you now own it, or something like that. I don't know.
It's Microsoft we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so that came out a couple days ago, that CD Projekt Red put out that thing that was like, we're sorry if you're disappointed with the game. Specifically, they were addressing console players in that they are going to be releasing 2 major patches in January and February. They also said that they apologized for not showing gameplay on last-gen systems because a lot of people for some reason thought that the PlayStation 4 could output what the trailers were putting out, which was unrealistic.
Newsflash. Those are almost a decade old.
Yeah. I mean, it's a marvel it was able to put out The Last of Us 2, if we're being honest.
Yeah. But that's a different situation in this game.
Yeah.
That's like very linear, so it renders what you see.
Yeah.
It's just pre-rendered levels. It's not like Cyberpunk where it's just gigantic
and bad, but
and
also
poorly optimized.
Yeah. So they put that out a couple days ago, but today Sony is pulling it from the store. Like officially, they're like from both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, which I thought was kind of. I don't get the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. I get the PlayStation 4 because it's not done, well, period, but especially not done on the PlayStation 4. So I don't know what this means. I've seen some people compare it to No Man's Sky or like Fallout 76, and that Sony or nobody pulled it from the stores in that situation. Which is true, but I'm a little bit worried now that this might be the standard for whenever a dev puts out, whenever, Ubisoft puts out an Assassin's Creed
Oopie.
or whatever, and then it's bad, and then people are going to expect it to be pulled from the store and expect full refunds from the publishers now.
Well, that'd be
Yeah, it is very
incredibly
weird.
bad because apparently they have Assassin's Creed VR coming in like a year, and that better be good.
It's not. I'm
It's
just going to
not.
say that right now.
It better be.
There's never been an Assassin's Creed that's good. I'll say it.
I just don't think like Assassin's Creed games. I'm pretty sure we've talked about this.
There's
or like that type of game.
If you like Assassin's Creed, you have to recognize that it is not a good piece. Like, there are better games than Assassin's Creed. You're allowed to like it, but you also have to recognize that it's not good. That's my thing.
Explain, because
okay,
I don't know.
So I like The Amazing Bulk. It's a movie that is very, very bad, but also I like it. It's a guilty pleasure. It's
you comparing Assassin's Creed to Incredible Bulk?
I'm just using it to compare that when you like something that is objectively bad, then you have to preface it with it. I like it, but it is bad. So, and yeah. Sorry, Ubisoft stands. What? Sorry, Assassin's Creed stands, but
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to become a Assassin's Creed stan, but like, and I mean, I've only played like Odyssey and Origin, and those are like different from everything before them, and apparently they're worse, and it's like, oh, we hate them. But I don't know. I found the games cool. Like, the historical aspect, like, they were mostly historically accurate. There was like, I don't know, this kind of goes back to Microsoft Flight Sim, like just riding through the desert on a camel, just like, I can't say sightseeing because you're just looking like that desert with not too high graphics, but like, I don't know. Like, I know those games are like, I know like Assassin's Creed is like itself kind of like a game that's kind of like left its prime, and it's like, oh, they still release stuff, and I mean, it's decent, but like, it's not that big. It's not like a Cyberpunk or anything. I don't see anything that like kills the game or like makes it like really bad or comparable to Incredible Bulk.
I'm not saying it's as bad as the Amazing Bulk, but I'm just saying the thing is about Assassin's Creed is that the idea of it is awesome, and I don't know how they mess it up, because literally the premise is so cool where you're going back in time and you're being this like this globe-trotting assassin that's like especially like if you're doing like Odyssey and you're going back to like Greece and stuff, like that's awesome. Or like the
actually, I think I do know where you're going at. It's like, are you gonna be bringing up how it's like you're not really an assassin anymore? You're just like an RPG like hero guy.
Just kind of just walk around and do the same thing for 30 hours until your character's high enough up to do the next story mission.
I mean, that's what's gonna happen if it's RPG based.
Yeah, but that's boring.
I mean, it's boring to some people. Like, I'm the one that would just like just do whatever side mission I find before moving on. So I had like both Origins and Odyssey. I never had to like go back and grind because I always just like did a side mission whenever I saw it, and like I was over leveled at times actually. So I don't know. Like, you can't go straight through the story. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm usually a side quest guy too, but the problem is that they recycle content over and over again, and every mission is a trailing mission or stuff like that. I don't know. It's the same thing with Cyberpunk. It's just they're not done. They need like a good.
It's not they're not done. It's just RPGs have a limited amount of quests you can pick from unless you get really creative, and that's really risky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that it's so safe.
That's a good thing about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It's both of those games are entirely flawed experiences.
Yeah. The only good thing about Cyberpunk is the main story and side missions, because it's better than like pretty much every RPG I've played except for like New Vegas, because they actually went out and did side quests and took their time like making something interesting for side quests instead of recycling the same aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And it ties into the main story and different options you can choose. So that's how it should be done. But then the rest of the game, they're like, we're just not going to worry about that.
Phone it in on literally everything else.
Phone it in on the whole open world aspect you thought about, because it's not an open world. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
You're just walking around an open world, but you can't really participate in it.
It's about as much of an open world game as GTA is an open world game, where it's like, yeah, there's stores you can go to.
You can do a lot more in that.
Yeah, you can do more in GTA.
This game, you can't do anything.
I don't know. Have you guys ever played Assassin's Creed very much? Because like,
yes.
I don't.
Yes.
I played Unity, and I played Brotherhood, and what's the one that came after Brotherhood?
I wouldn't know.
Revelations.
Oh yeah, I think it was Revelations.
I mean, though, you haven't. Well, I get those games. I think are like the. I mean, those ones are less open world, more. I think like story driven, if I remember.
No, they're kind
like
of
if you,
open world.
Like if you really want open world, then you have to like play Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla. Which apparently Valhalla, they've kind of gone back to their roots a bit and done like a hiding in person like kind of thing, like people liked in the first couple of games.
But also, it's
I think people were more well received Valhalla than the other ones, but
Valhalla also was not finished.
Yeah,
I mean that's
what I'm saying. All of these games are so unpolished because
that's like a whole game industry thing. Like
it's especially true with yearly releases, which is what Ubisoft does to Assassin's Creed. Unfortunately,
there's nothing worse than rushing an art form.
Yeah. If they like really took their time on an Assassin's Creed and spent like 3 or 4 years making like a really, really solid open world RPG, and like it came out and it was the best thing, then I would take back literally everything I'm saying right now. But as of now, they have not done it.
Well, the thing about nowadays is that there's just, you can't wait 4 years to drop a game anymore. That's way too long in everyone's minds. So you can't really do that.
If we've learned anything, it's that the consumer does not matter.
I mean, Rockstar has a game they still constantly update, though.
The consumer thinks what the consumer wants, and it's wrong. People will like a product more if you make them wait for it, and it turns out being a quality product.
I mean, then you'll just have like maybe another Cyberpunk. Like, there's no even promise that that'll happen.
Well, they did a No Man's Sky. They wanted to please everybody, and they said, yeah, we'll make it work on last-gen consoles, which obviously would not be able to happen, especially the way they built that game from the ground up. The way they analyzed textures in that game, there's no way they would have been able to make that game work. Like, I don't know what they were thinking.
And nowadays, like, game tech and all that's, like, advancing fairly fast. So, like, even, like, if your game only takes, like, 2-3 years to develop, like, you're going to be, like, behind graphic-wise. You're going to be, like, behind, like, just tech-wise, pretty much, and I don't know.
Not really, though. Cyberpunk took 8 years, and it's probably the most pretty game I've played since Last of Us 2.
Well, I mean, that's the... They also, like, started base development on, like, PS4, so, like, they had to make it like that, and then PS5, like, started coming around, so, like, okay, we gotta focus on PS5, and then they're like, what do PS4, and, like, hey, last-gen consoles, and they're like, well, they were probably like, just throw them to the side. We'll deal with it later. And they never got to it. And then that's like how we got to now. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to take like more than like 3-4 years to develop a game.
No, but you have to be able to toe the line.
Yeah.
You have to be able to keep expectations tempered while also being able to realize potential. And too many game studios are failing at both. Except for some of the indie stuff is like surprisingly good. Like if you want obviously. But I'm
That's like-
talking if you want like good examples of stuff that's like that, look at everything Devolver has ever done, and also Supergiant, which is the game that the devs that made Hades, and apparently everything else they've made is good. But these are like examples of like Devolver's thing that they do is they have like a bunch of these little studios, and then they all just make passion projects, and then they announce them like 3 months before they come out, which is how it really should be. Because if you're announcing games like Cyberpunk did like 8 years ago with a teaser trailer, then people are going to be expecting like the best game ever. If you've been developing it for 8 years and been public about developing it for 8 years, you kind of need to be able to chill out a bit and, just let people like surprise them a bit. Because if you give them too much time, then they're going to get too worked up about everything and expect too much.
That game shouldn't have been as popular as it is either, because it's not a game for everybody.
I mean, probably
Kind
half
of
popularities from all the hey OP graphics.
But yeah, their marketing department like knocked it out of the park. So everybody got excited about it, and then like the wait time just added onto it.
Hey guys, do you see how epic this looks with like a 3080? You want to get it right, even if you have like a 1060.
I mean, even on PS5 and Xbox Series X, it looks pretty good.
But it doesn't run.
My PC on high to medium like looks really, really good, and I'm on old tech as well. But anything below that, it's like, nah, don't play this.
Yeah. Well, I've even seen like people on PS5 like claiming that it's been crashing and like performance issues.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like I think I saw like a what do you call them? It's like someone did like a benchmark test or something for like PS5. I don't know if it's like benchmark in the game or so, but they somehow did it, and it was like I think that you get like a constant like 23 FPS if anything is happening in the scene. Otherwise, you get 30. So I mean, you'll get graphics and probably less crashing than last gen, but it's still gonna be fairly hard to play.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a given. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those games are 30 FPS for consoles. But yeah, the optimization of this game is awful. I don't understand how like they had all the graphics engines there. They're like, look at how good this looks, but then they just couldn't optimize it. I don't know if that was a time crunch thing or what, but if your game only looks pretty on tech that is like less than 3 years old, I don't know what you did.
I have no idea.
At that point, just like, hey, the PC version is out now. Wait an extra 6 months for consoles.
Pretty much.
But then you divide your fan base, and then you get hate because people want what they want when they want it.
Yeah.
And they back themselves into corners with deadlines and all that stuff.
Well, usually they do the reversal of that, where they do console release first and then PC later.
Right.
Which
this game I would say opposite.
Yeah. I don't know. The console almost makes sense because when you're developing for a console release, you're developing for one like piece of
one console.
Yeah. So, but when you're developing for a PC port, there's like millions of different graphics cards and processors and like everything like that. So it's way more safe to develop for one piece of hardware. And I think
that's why I don't know how they got to the graphic standard they did, because it looks like amazing on RTX cards, but no consoles have anywhere near that yet, and these are brand new consoles.
Yeah.
And wasn't the PS5 like being like, oh my god, guys, you see this ray tracing on this console?
I think you can still ray trace on a PS5, but that's going to cost you frames.
Quality performance mode.
Yeah.
You know which one you choose, which is cool to have for a console. But
I do kind of like that, yeah. So it's just whether you want 60 frames and like PS4 graphics, or if you want PS5 graphics and 30 frames.
Right.
I mean, I think isn't it a thing for like if you only play console, like you're used to 30 anyways.
Pretty much. Like
Yes.
when I
But then
Yeah.
if it like dips a little bit, then it's like,
it
If
doesn't
it dips, it's hell. But
yeah.
otherwise, you won't.
It doesn't really matter for single player games. Like
Yeah.
you know, when you're playing like Spider-Man or anything, you're not like, "Whoa, this is 30 frames per second." It's like, no, yeah, that's not what you're focusing on. You're focusing on fighting Big Wheel, who is in the new Spider-Man apparently.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Well, not really. He's one of the figurines you can find, which is funny. But yeah, that was the do breaking news.
Breaking news.
We kind of got sidetracked a little bit, but
yeah,
that's okay.
it was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation. I know we don't need to talk about it too much because we just kind of got off talking about it, but we've had a week to play the game. Bebby's actually finished the game. I have not. Paul still
Wow,
hasn't
come
played
on.
it.
No, come on. You didn't expect him to finish it. Come on.
I would have if it was good. So,
Oh, spicy topic.
I mean, I like the
Friday
story and
night.
the side missions. I thought they did a pretty good job on it. It's just they should not have marketed it as an open world game, and they should have blocked off some stuff because it just ruins the experience.
yeah, if it
Because you're
was.
not able to do anything unless you're in a side mission or main mission.
Otherwise, you're just driving from waypoint to waypoint.
Yeah, which I use fast travel anyways, so it doesn't even matter.
Come on, man, that ruins the experience if you fast travel.
Yeah, you got
Better
cars.
than like driving
on.
down the road at 150 and having textures load 3 seconds after I pass them because I'm going too fast for the game engine to keep up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
You got to make use of that $60 by seeing the
Plus, like,
unloaded
there's-
scenery.
there's cars you can buy, but there's no garage, there's no customization for them, and there's not even a point in buying a car because
You can just
by the
steal
time you get enough money, you can just like beat the game pretty much, or you can just steal anybody's car and they won't care,
Yeah.
and you're fine.
There's no
Or
like unique
You get
only
like three,
get
you get 3 motorbikes for free that are better than every single car in the game. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I will say the side quests are probably the best side quests I've played in an RPG besides New Vegas.
Hmm.
And I like that the side quests actually tie into the main story and how you can end the game. Because like the relationships you build through side quests actually matter, which is cool.
Oh, that is cool.
That doesn't happen a lot.
No, it doesn't.
I think they built their characters well, but I am very upset that at the beginning of the game, like before you hit the title screen, they give you a stupid montage of character building instead of actually good character building with you.
Yeah.
Because then it doesn't have any emotional impact whatsoever. Like, what were you thinking, you idiots?
I don't know. And this is what kind of kills me is that, I mean, I think it was kind of like, you know, it was going to happen that the story was going to be good because that's what CD Projekt Red does.
That's what took so much time to get, and then they had to build everything around that and drop the ball.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what they did with The Witcher because I might get hate for this, I might not, but the gameplay of The Witcher is not that impressive. Or really, I don't know.
I haven't played it, so I cannot comment or call him out.
I don't think that's like too crazy of a thing to say. Like, even like diehard fans of The Witcher 3 are like, yeah, I play it for the story. Like that, it's kind of just like par for the course. So I wasn't expecting like awesome gameplay from Cyberpunk. I wasn't expecting it just to not be good at all. So yeah, this is probably like, as it stands right now, I'll just give like a tentative number to it. I would probably give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 10. Sorry, 4 out. I was gonna say, not a 4 out of 5. Definitely. If they iron out the bugs and make it run decent, that can go up to a 4 or a 5 or a 6. But as it stands right now, there's not a lot of meat on these bones, even if the game was, ran fine.
Optimized, yeah.
Yeah.
I would give it a 5 out of 10 until you get 15 hours into the story and get the real guns that they hide behind, like level 15 or whatever, which is dumb.
So
might I
dumb.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
get power weapons that actually work at level 15. Like there's a sniper with a scope where you can see through walls and you can kill people through walls. There's smart weapons that'll trace around corners and hit people, so you don't need to aim and at 20 FPS because the game can't run correctly. There's
I always say you
mantis
thought
blades
about
that come
people
out of your
20.
arms, so you can actually make melee builds that are super fun. But it doesn't
Yeah.
matter until you hit level 15 and can afford them.
Yeah.
Not gonna
But
lie, I'm
after
gonna
that, the gameplay was a
main
blast.
Mantis build.
Yeah, that would that's what's also kind of disappointing about it, is that there's so much like lack of freedom, especially in the beginning of the game.
Yep.
Where it's like I went into it and you get to go, like you make your character and then you get to choose your stats, and the stats get to control different things, and I was like, okay, this is like cool, so I'll be able to have like like maybe I'll be short in one stat and then like super high in another stat, and that'll like I'll have like a character flaw. That'll be kind of cool.
Right.
There's something like that in the Outer Worlds where you can take on character flaws that you can have, and that'll like greatly decrease a stat, but it'll give you like a feat point. So it's like, oh, you may have like kind of low reflexes, but like you can reload guns like 50 times or not 50 times, but 50% as fast or something like that. Which is
Wouldn't
that's
reloading a
cool
gun
system.
need more reflexes?
I'm just using that as an example. I don't know the
Yeah.
exact one.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't compute.
Sorry. But I was hoping for something like that in Cyberpunk, where it's like, okay, I want to be like a cool, suave, gunslinging kind of guy, super awesome, And then you get into the game and it's like, okay, you start off and you have a pistol and they take you through this like little sneaky missions section. I started off as a street kid because gunslinger, obviously. But
It doesn't matter, by the way.
it doesn't matter, but I did
Aw.
I did that because I thought it would be cool. But you get this pistol and I'm like, okay, so there's like a sneaky mission and I got spotted, and the pistol there's like a boss at the end of this like situation that you're in. And then I start shooting at the boss, and I get like, I empty 6 shots into his head, and he kills me in 1 hit. And I'm like, what? Okay. So
You were playing at hard difficulty, by the way, right?
I was playing on hard difficulty, which isn't the hardest difficulty in the game, mind you. I usually play on the second hardest just because I like a challenge. I don't like games to be impossible, though.
Yeah, it was rough.
So it was at that
Yeah.
moment where it was like, okay, everything you do, you have to either sneak behind them, press F twice, or you have to get the shotgun and shoot them in the head like 1,600 times until they eventually keel over and die. You can't do these super advanced pistol builds until you have enough like feat points into pistols. And it's like, well, what the flip, guy? I want to be able to do that right off the bat. And now it's like, oh, you have to build up your experience. Which I guess it works in something like Kingdom Come Deliverance, where it's something like you have to train to be a swordsman.
Yeah.
But my background is being a cool, like, street kid kind of guy. And you can't do that until later. So I stopped playing, and I might pick it up when it's fixed. Probably not, though. We'll see.
I built a second build after I beat the game because there's 6 different endings and I got 2 of them. And once you beat the game, you cannot go back and complete every side quest unless you go to your save point before playing the final missions.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, I'll do a 100% build next.
Mm.
And I chose a different background, and it only matters for literally 10 minutes. And then you end up in the same exact situation and the same exact montage and mission and everything happens.
Yeah.
But I'm doing like a very melee like body build, so I put everything into body and reflexes. So I'll see if it makes more of a difference, but I'm waiting for the game to get updated before doing it, so I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
This one I purposely skipped side quests and stuff just to get the main story over, so I could be like, hey, this is what the big picture is, and there's smaller things I can come back to later when the game is fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But I played the first mission, the sneaky mission or whatever, in the apartment or on my second build. And I was playing on hard mode. I played the first one on normal because actually I played it on hard mode and then I'm like, no, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So I didn't. And I didn't realize you could sneak through that entire mission.
Yes, you can.
So I did that the second time. But I think it's because I played 30 hours of the game that I was able to do that. Because me with 3 hours in the game the first time I did it, I was like, this is really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a learning curve, but there shouldn't be one if it's an RPG. It should be like your character has a skill set already. And not like me playing the game and getting better at the game should matter that much. At least not in an RPG.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
But
what
I'm
that
all
background
about
should
that,
be.
but that's not the game for it.
Yeah.
I'll play COD or some competitive FPS if I want to do that.
Well, that's what the background should be, right? Is that
Right.
it's like, okay, you pick your corpo life path, and maybe that's like your more intelligence. Maybe you get like a little bit more cool because you kind of have to like use that charisma to work your way up, or like, and then street kids more like body and reflexes because you've been having to live on the street and you had to like bust cars and stuff like that. So it's like maybe that's what it should be, and maybe yeah, I don't know.
Because Corpo, it gives you dialogue options that you wouldn't get in other paths, but it doesn't make your intelligence higher, which is stupid. I feel like there should be buffers that are automatically applied to your character when you choose your background.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you start as Corpo, you have $160,000 in your bank,
Oh.
and you have like a flight thing around the city, and like you have all this stuff, but then like they end up firing you and you lose everything. So I'm like, you should make it different. So like I still have like not 100K, but like 50K, and then like access to a vehicle or something that's different than the street kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you're doing is unifying everything into one story, and everybody's like path is the same. So you don't get like diversity in your game routes because they all just lead to one area. It's not open world.
Mm-hmm.
It's linear.
Yeah. I mean that really just goes on to that whole thing that you were talking about with they were way too overambitious. Like that whole like life path thing could be cut and you could just have it be street kid.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna include it, make it unique to every run. Don't make it like not matter. Because I'm wondering if I was a nomad and I did like the side quests like with the Pan Am chick who's a nomad, if I'd be better at that stuff. Because that's where I come from. Or if like I already knew her at the beginning, but it probably doesn't matter. Which is weird.
Probably not.
Yeah,
No,
but
you
not-
probably still know Jackie
Yeah.
somehow.
Like I knew Jackie, like that was 5 seconds into the Corpo one. I'm like, how do I know this guy? You don't explain it. I'm just on the phone with him.
Yeah. It's I mean, if they wanted to do something like that, they just have to follow through. They
Yeah.
set up all these things and all of these different systems, but they never really impact each other or interact in any other meaningful way other than just being like, yeah, it's a thing that you can do and it kind of influences gameplay, but not really.
Well,
I
that does happen actually. You rarely see beginnings of games suck. That's usually when they want to bring you in
Mhm.
and be like, this is what you're getting yourself into, and this is like the explosion that can happen in this game, which is like usually how media goes anyways. You want a good first impression.
Yeah.
The first 5 hours of this game are the worst hours. And then you have to play like 10 more hours, and then all of a sudden it's like this is a completely different game. Dialogue options I choose make differences. Relationships I get in make differences in the story and in the side missions. The way I interact with Keanu Reeves actually affects the story
Yeah.
and the relationship with him and everything else. So it's like, why do you wait 15 hours before you give us the content that should be this whole game? Because that part is fantastic, but everything else is like very subpar.
I don't.
It's like that saying of, "Oh, just skip the first 2 episodes. That's just boring, like
Yeah.
building at the story. You got to get to the
Yeah.
action." But you can't skip the boring story.
Like, you literally don't need the first 5 hours of the game because Jackie doesn't matter
No.
at all.
Man, my
The
boy
only
Jackie
thing that
don't even
mattered
matter.
was like the chip that got in your head. That's like the only thing from the first 5 hours that actually makes a difference in the game.
Yeah.
Dang, from the stuff I saw, I started to like Jackie, but it doesn't matter.
No, not
That
really.
sucks.
No.
I guess
It
maybe we
would
should.
have been more of an emotional impact if you would have let us played out the montage that they put in there that was like very poorly chopped together.
Yeah.
Like they took their gameplay trailer and just slapped it in for 30 seconds, so they had to skip 10 hours of gameplay or something.
Yeah. Imagine if, like, and maybe this is a bad example, but like, what if, like, in The Last of Us, like, 1, because they kind of do this in Last of Us 2, but I'm not going to talk about that. But in The Last of Us 1, what if just, like, instead of, like, just walking to the hospital, you, like, played for, like, the first half an hour and you met Ellie, and then it just did a montage of all your crazy antics, and then the whole first game is just a montage. The rest of Cyberpunk is Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
It's
That
like,
would-
what the flip? Why you can't expect me to care about Jackie if it's just shown to me fast cut in a montage. What the flip?
Yeah. That's why I was like, it was weird because it like popped up in your face too, and it was like very poorly chopped together. I'm like, is this intentional, or did they just like cut 10 hours of gameplay at the last second and just put this together?
I don't
Which is weird
know.
because they kept like bragging like this. Here's your 16 hours before you reach the title screen. Like, this is how big this game is, and it was only 5 hours. So I'm like, they must have cut that.
I think they must have.
But that would have been perfect for learning the city, getting like cool gear before like you do heists and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and exploring game mechanics and builds. But you just skip all of it
Yeah.
and then treat the rest of the game like a tutorial, even though you're robbing like the most powerful man in the city 2 hours into the game.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of the most disappointing games I've ever played.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
I still enjoyed it and had fun, but there could have been a lot better outcomes to this thing.
Yeah, and that's not to say that there isn't. The game has moments.
Oh yeah.
It has like I don't know, minor spoilers, I guess. Sorry. It's like not it's just for one of the side missions that I had. But
Side missions don't matter.
yeah, so I don't feel too bad. But I did this side mission where like I got a job that like this guy stole some medicine, and like my job was to kind of break into his apartment and like get the medicine back for the people who own it. And so like I walk in and I'm like walking around his apartment, and he's upstairs, but I'm on the ground floor and I don't know that. And I'm looking through and I have my shotgun out. So that's where, you kind of get taken out cuz you have to play a game a certain way at the beginning. But I'm out there and I'm looking through his house and I'm like reading his like logs and stuff, and I'm starting to see that this guy is like clearly unstable. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to approach this very carefully. And so when I find him, he has his gun out and I have my gun out, but I somehow talk him down to the point where he like lowers his weapon and he's like, okay, fine, you can take the medicine. But that was only because I had looked through his things and known what to say. And that was awesome. And so
Yeah.
I took the medicine and then I turned around and left. And then I heard a gunshot and I came back and he killed himself. I was like, whoa, did I do that? Am I the bad guy? That ruled. Like, it's
Yeah,
stuff like
side
that.
mission-
Yeah. There's stuff like that where it's like really cool, where it's like I did something that influenced the world around me, kind of. But everything else it's just laden with missed opportunities in a field of gold. Yeah. I wish I
Side
loved this game.
missions and story mission or story after first 15 hours, fantastic. Everything before that, no. Everything around you in the city, no.
Yeah. It's rough.
I think there's a ton of potential if they just continue to work on it, which I think they will. I don't think you walk away from this.
Yeah.
It just
I'm not
sounds like they
sure.
will.
That's what it is. It's CD Projekt Red. They'll fix it until they think it's up to standards. That's what they did with Witcher, and then Witcher's like incredible now, apparently.
But also, they released this.
Yeah.
So it's like, I get that they kind of have this reputation in the gaming community of like basically having no faults, and they've only made like perfect 10 out of 10s. But also,
Witcher.
they just betrayed everybody right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, you know, super hardcore CD Projekt Red or anything. I'm a realist, first and foremost, and there's not a lot of profit in updating a single player game if there's no microtransactions.
They said
in
they
it.
were going to do it because they know their reputation's shot.
I know it is, but I'm just saying there's literally no financial incentive to do so unless they make this a 10 out of 10 game, which would, to do that, they would have to critically rework most systems in the game to do that. And at this point, I don't know if that's even a possibility. It would take, like, honestly, probably a year to, like, completely fix this game.
I think they'll do it. I think even if it costs more money, whatever, like, having a hurt reputation in the gaming community is one of the worst things you can have.
Granted, it's fairly common nowadays, for better or worse.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the line that they're going to have to, take. Because are they going to pull a Hello Games or are they going to pull a Bethesda?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And even Bethesda still tries to make their game better.
Fallout
they
76
pull worse than
is still
Bethesda.
the worst. Fallout 76 is still the worst game I've ever played that I've pre-ordered and that I played day one. This game is a buggy mess, but it still doesn't stand up to what 76 was.
Yeah,
I
like
would say that's fair.
I played Fallout 76 for maybe like 15 hours, like 3 weeks ago, because I had nothing else to do. And honestly, the game, it feels a lot more like a Fallout game. And honestly, it was fairly fun, but again, I still kind of got as far as I did last time I played.
Yeah.
Granted, there was a lot more to do, so I still played for longer. But
Take Cyberpunk and eliminate every character in NPC. That's Fallout 76.
I mean, there's NPCs and stuff now.
Yeah,
There's actually quite a few of them.
Like, I don't know how that got passed, but I don't like. I hope this doesn't become the standard because I'm used to unfinished multiplayer games coming out. Betas are common for multiplayer games now, which is great because I know that there's be constant updates and feedback and everything. That's great. Like, but I don't want single player experiences to come out unreleased more and more. Because like that's where I kind of am like, it's a single player game. You have one shot at this.
Yep.
It's not a multiplayer game that people will play for years and will grow with it as it gets better. You got one shot.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm worried about this.
Yeah.
Because you can be incentivized. Like Bethesda is incentivized to make the game better because of the Fallout store, where people are buying microtransactions or whatever. Hello Games is a little bit more altruistic because they wanted to finish the game, but also they wanted to push sales because they're a company. But I don't know. I don't think Hello Games is definitely the exception, not the rule.
Yeah,
so,
but I don't know. I feel they're going to fix this game.
I feel like they're going to try. I wouldn't go in thinking that they're going to come out with a good game at the end.
They're gonna fix it to the best of their ability, so that fans that were expecting what the game like brought out will get what they want, but it still won't please the large majority of people that are like, "Hey, this game looks cool."
Mm.
It'll be a Witcher situation, cult classic. That's it. Because I think it's
Yeah.
impossible at this point.
I don't know. It might be a cult classic, but you know, people still play Fallout 76. So
Not very many.
not very many, but that's the definition of a cult classic.
Yeah. But I'm saying it's going to be the same thing as a Witcher 3 situation.
It might be. And that's wishful thinking, but I hope you're right. I would love to see the standards of CD Projekt Red not be affected by this release.
Personally, if I was involved in any piece of this game, I don't think I could live happy until I had fixed this. Because this is like one of the best game ideas I've ever seen. And to see it poorly executed, if I was working on that, I don't know if I'd be able to like live seeing that game like just finish in shambles without any fixing.
But yeah, that's a good sentiment to have, but also the devs aren't always in control. Like we don't know.
They're
like,
never in control.
Like CD Projekt
That's
Red
the
could be
thing.
like, you know, they get it to a point where maybe it's back on the Sony store, and this is probably not what's going to happen, but you know, hypothetically, for the sake of the argument, they could just be like, okay, well, we need to work on The Witcher 4 or whatever CD Projekt Red is making next. We finally got Cyberpunk to a workable state where it works on new gen consoles and it can run kind of on old gen consoles, but it's back on the Sony store and everybody can buy it, and you know, sales are like trickling in. Okay, well, we need to shift the devs that are currently working on optimizing Cyberpunk, and we're going to put it onto the Witcher 4 team. Like, they could do that. So, like, it is... You would hope that, like, the devs on the team would, like, be like, no, we need to finish this game. There's a lot of potential here, and we need to be able to fix it. But also... it just doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be bad from a business perspective to do that too. You
I
want to.
I mean,
but I mean, EA's done it. Like, I'm not saying that CD Projekt Red is that low, but yeah, I don't.
yeah.
I'm hopeful that this game will get to a working state. I don't know if it'll ever be good. But we'll see. Only time will tell. This could be a No Man's Sky situation. Who knows? This is a good podcast.
You know, we've run out of ideas when we say, yeah, this is a good podcast.
I mean, we actually have content this week, so this
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
not a sarcastic one this time.
I don't, yeah.
But do we got more?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of ended on a downer. I'm sorry about that.
God dang it, how dare you, Debbie Downer.
Sorry. I'm just too cynical, I guess. Stupid, dumb, idiot baby brain.
Yeah.
Speaking of dumb, idiot baby brains, we stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Saturday. On twitch.tv/babby with 2 Y's and twitch.tv/capybaramon. It's in the flipping description. So, there you go. We plugged the
Cool.
pluggable.
Plug,
Plug walk.
Big plug.
plug, walk.
Shall I?
No.
Oh,
No.
And
It's like 30 minutes.
it's only, well, close. It's been 49.
We're just repeating random words now. Are we sure we have more to say?
Have you not listened to our podcast like 3 weeks ago? It's literally all it was.
I don't remember the first 5 minutes of this week's podcast. Anyways,
I don't know. The only other thing that happened today of note is that there was another Smash Direct, but also you
Ooh.
guys don't really care about that, and honestly, I don't really either because it's
Not
the
really, but
Sephiroth
ooh.
thing. They did like the move breakdown for Sephiroth, and then they announced some new Mii
Oh, boy.
costumes, and people are
Oh,
mad because the guy from what's the guy's it's the guy from Super Mario RPG that I haven't played because it's only on the SNES. That guy's a Mii costume now, so people are mad that he's not
Nice.
actually going to be added to the game, which I guess is kind of valid. I don't know. I haven't played that game. Sorry. I guess I'm not a true Nintendo stan.
That's true.
You're not a Nintendo stan if you haven't played every single Nintendo game ever for every console.
Yeah, sorry. I want to get Gex. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny.
Did I tell you that I had the opportunity to get Gex and I didn't get it?
Yeah. I guess it still haunts you.
It still does. Especially since I haven't seen it since then. I didn't know it was gonna be a funny game until Donkey made the video on it. And I was like, oh, I should have bought that. Dang it.
That's your biggest regret. I think you're fine.
Yeah. Well, that's good. We finished Barry and started Close Enough and ended Close Enough and started Watchmen since the last episode of the podcast. So I guess we could talk about TV for a bit.
You're speedrunning.
Yeah. Well, Close Enough was only, what, like 8 episodes? I think?
Yeah, it was 14 technically.
16. Oh, wait,
18.
no. One was only 1, so like 15.
Yeah.
Okay. There was 15 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. They did the thing that like a lot of like older cartoons did where they had like 2 in 1, like Flapjack and Chowder did that. And I don't know, did regular show do that?
I don't think so.
They were 15-minute time slots usually.
Did they? Oh, well, yeah, they were 15 minutes with like 15 minutes ads.
Yeah. So I guess they did that.
Cable where it's like 30 minutes of Adventure Time, and then there's a 15-minute regular show, and then there'd be something else.
Yeah.
Was regular show only 15?
Yeah.
Could have sworn it was like 30.
I mean, they had 30-minute episodes. Unless they did combine them sometimes and put 2 in 1. I don't remember it having that, though. But
Feeling adventurous.
It also went on a lot longer than I thought it did, so I might not know everything.
Yeah, that one went on for like 2011 to 2017, right?
Yeah. I didn't see the end of it then if it ended in 2017.
Dang.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that was his, for those who don't know, Close Enough is J.G. Quintel's new show, which is the guy who did regular show, which is why I'm talking about him. Babby, what did you think?
It's pretty good. It's basically the same thing as regular show, except more grounded in reality.
More not safe for work.
Kind of the same way as regular show. It's like normal activity, paranormal event, or something weird happens. That's it. Which is, I think that's a good thing for a 15-minute episode.
Yeah.
Very good at that. You always get something weird, something new.
I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have that much to say about it. It wasn't that long. I wasn't like super attached to any of the characters like I was with like Gravity Falls or something. It was just a nice show.
Storyline is just kind of a nice thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as good as regular show, but it also hasn't been built up for years since it's a limited one series thing, unless it goes longer. But
Yeah, I don't know if they're doing anything more for that.
it's nice to know he's not a one-trick pony, though. He can do other things.
Well, yeah.
You find his TV 14 slot instead of his TV PG or whatever regular show was. Y7.
Why? You think it was Y7?
I don't know the ratings anymore.
Does Y7 mean year 7?
No, I think that's only for
Oh.
kids.
Hmm.
Let me see.
I don't know what the ratings are, but the one below 14, that's what regular show was.
Let me see. I'm
That's
not
almost
sure.
Things were.
I'm only familiar with MA because I only watch adult shows.
I only watch adult shows like Gravity Falls.
Yeah. Not like not like Nielsen ratings. What is the chart? No, this is all the same stuff. I don't know what you would search. TV rated, I guess. Parental guidelines, that's it.
Yeah, that one.
So there's Y, Y7, G, PG, 14, and MA.
So I think regular show was PG or G, but it wanted to be an Adult Swim show, but it got a Cartoon Network slot.
Yeah, that's actually what Gravity Falls wanted to be too, but they couldn't even get on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do. I know that like Alex Hurst shipped that around like a lot, and he only got on Disney, which was like I don't think he wanted to go there at all.
I'm surprised Disney let them do what they did with the second season because that was really flipping good. But
Yeah, I know. Well, they've seeing the success of that, they've completely just like infinite money, make whatever you want.
yeah,
So that's
which
good.
is great.
Yeah.
But
So
regular show's one of my favorites. So doesn't live up to that, but it's still a good quality watch if you just need like even a day or two of entertainment.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get around to a regular show eventually, but that one's like
that one's long.
8 or 9 seasons or something.
Well, we wouldn't have to watch all of it necessarily.
Yeah, I haven't watched all of it. I haven't seen the ending or whatever.
I want to see Adventure Time, like that one for
Yeah, I'm
sure.
more interested in that right now.
I think we're gonna do that after Watchmen.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess we completely skipped over Barry. What did you think of Barry?
Season 2 was really, really good.
Yeah.
Season 1 was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty quality.
Yeah, it's a good show. I was
Bad vibes sometimes, which is cool.
what was that?
It gives Breaking Bad vibes sometimes,
Yeah,
which
sometimes.
is cool because not a lot of shows can pull that off.
No, I really love the characters of Barry, and they aren't like as like fleshed out as Breaking Bad stuff, but like they're caricatures and they're just fun, you know. Like every person in his acting class is just stupid, and I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Barry a lot. The
Yeah.
season 2 was
I don't
definitely better.
To put that in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think season 2 is better.
Which I think Henry Winkler was nominated for both, which is interesting. Bill Hader won a lot for like directing and writing for that show, which definitely deserved. It's very pretty.
It is.
Not as pretty as Dark, but
I don't think any
nice.
show's as pretty as Dark.
At least not American.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Wes Anderson made a show, that would... Actually, that's not true. I was just going to... Wes Anderson has the most pretty movies, I think. But they are very different than what Dark is.
American shows, it's pretty. Not Dark quality, but Dark can tell a whole narrative just through visual storytelling, so I don't base anything off of that because it's the exception.
Yeah.
Unless you're Breaking Bad and just do all of it perfectly, but that never happens either. So.
Or Saul.
Or Saul.
Okay. Do you like Saul or Breaking Bad more? It's hard.
Yeah, I think it's good that it's hard to choose.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I think I love them both
Most
equally.
recent seasons of Saul are like perfect, so I don't know. But also the first seasons of Breaking Bad were establishing, just like Saul was. So
I think Breaking Bad is so like season 1 of Breaking Bad is so different than season
Yeah.
5 of Breaking Bad. Where Saul
Which
is
is-
just kind of like more of the same, but that's not a bad thing.
yeah,
It's just a law show. But
Saul's
also,
less stressful.
yeah, it is. But when it hits, it hits. It's
Yeah.
It's really G dang good.
I think they're equal as of now.
I think so too.
I don't think I could choose.
Yeah. I was just interested to see if you could, because I can't.
Yeah, I can't. It's like obviously it's like you can just say Breaking Bad, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
They're like
Everybody
same.
praises Breaking Bad, but Saul is like the same in quality.
Yeah. Like I went into it kind of thinking that I was like, okay, I love Breaking Bad so much. There's no way that it's going to be as good. And it is.
Mhm.
There's no beating around the bush. It's as good as Breaking Bad.
Extremely rare for a TV series like spinoff.
Mm-hmm. Especially since Vince has been like stepping further and further away from the project. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing now, but like I've heard that like the last 2 seasons of Better Call Saul have pretty much exclusively been the Peter Gould,
Mhm.
which I mean, those seasons haven't dropped in quality. They've remained constant. I mean, I did like Chuck. I think he added a good.
I hated Chuck, but that was meant to.
I
Chuck.
hated Chuck too. I thought he
Yeah.
was the worst, except for Howard. I hate Howard. What did we? Oh, he was in Barry. That's right. That
Yeah.
was so weird. I've never seen him in anything else except for a one
so,
shot in
like-
Barry.
He stands out so much too, so it's like you immediately know.
Yeah, it was like, cause he was in like one shot of a scene, and I think we both were like, "What, Howard?" It was so weird. Yeah. So watch that if you haven't. Well, everything we've talked about, watch.
Yeah, watch everything we watched. Do it.
I don't think we've watched a bad show yet, right?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Should swap it up
We've
and watch
gotten
a
that
bad
far where
show.
we have to watch shows that are just okay.
Okay, we'll watch an okay show. How about we watch the Great British Cook Off or whatever? No, the Bake
we'll
Off.
British Bake Off, because that's what we like. Well, once we get through our entire list and like we've seen all of the stuff that's like trendy and good,
Hmm.
we can go off into the category.
Yeah, I have like a list of shows I would eventually like to see, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, would you have any interest in watching The Sopranos?
Probably not, because it's
What
so
now?
like huge.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
That
I know
seems
nothing about it. Yeah, okay. This might get me shot, but
Uh-oh.
Probably.
I'm not a huge fan of gangster movies, specifically
Uh-oh.
Scorsese movies. And I've seen a lot. I've seen Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, The Irishman, Goodfellas. I feel like I've seen another one of his, but maybe it's just those 4. I'll just say for sure it's those 4. And I think my favorite one is Raging Bull because it's like short and the other ones are very long. And my thing with some gangster movies, the exception is The Godfather, interestingly, because I think it's the longest one out of the bunch, is that Scorsese just like, he does a lot of like character pieces where it's like, you know, we're going to watch this guy. The Irishman is literally watching a guy's like entire life from like when he's a teenager to when he's in a nursing home. So that like huge like 4-hour chunk is this guy's entire life, even like the boring moments. And I don't like that. Godfather is very snappy and like, I don't know. I like it a lot because there's not a lot of fat to it, even though it's long, it's all good stuff. Which some people say that Scorsese.
If you're gonna make your movie long, make it really good.
Yeah, like the Watchmen movie, right, Babby?
Oh God.
Debbie, not like.
We'll get to that. But I'm worried that The Sopranos is going to be more Scorsese and less Coppola. But also, I don't know.
Gangster movies, so I like stuff that's like, kind of like makes fun of it, or is kind of like more loose than just like a mob movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems so like in their lane.
Yeah. I'm definitely more a fan of stuff like Breaking Bad, where there is a crime aspect to it, but it is.
Oh, yeah, I love that stuff, but like not full on mob like business and crap. I don't care.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just recently rewatched The Godfather just because like I don't know. I hadn't finished it actually. The first time I watched it, I watched like almost all of it and then hadn't seen the last 15 minutes, which is some of the best parts of the movie, so I don't know why I stopped watching. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm worried about with The Sopranos. But you know, I want to stress to you, James, that if we're watching a show and you're not like loving it or whatever, like let me know. Like I don't want to pressure you. Like if we eventually do get to The Sopranos and it's like a 6-season show and you're not feeling it, like
I see things through unless it's 7 seasons or something stupid.
yeah.
Like I'm more of a
seasons.
let's see where this goes guy than like a 1 episode I'm that interested.
I mean, we would definitely have to give it a bit, like
Yeah.
But you know, this is a little bit away because we
Clock ticks faster if there's more seasons and I'm not into it yet. Then it's like, you better hurry up, otherwise I'm out.
yeah. Which it's
Unless
got
it's something like Saul where you have the universe and we just watched the other show, so you're already invested in everything. Then the slow burn is like worth it.
Yeah. Well, it starts slow, but it picks up. It gets going. Which I always hate when people say that. I mean this like actually push through because like the first like I think even like the first 3 episodes were kind of like for me, but
I still enjoyed it because it's Saul and we know him.
yeah, that's true too.
If it was like a completely new series and we didn't know about this guy at all, it would have been rough.
Yeah.
But you're already invested because you like a character as the main character. So it's a different world.
Yeah. That's true. Speaking of being invested in a world and seeing it through, we started Watchmen today, actually. The show. The show. I kind of made Babby watch it yesterday, but we also have to watch the movie.
I wasn't expecting the marathon.
Yeah, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
I forgot it was that long, and then I looked at the runtime because like that night to be like, oh wait, how long is this movie? Because the COD season just started, and I was like, oh, it's 2.5 hours. And like as soon as I saw that, I got on Discord and I was like, we gotta start. But what did you think of the movie?
Extremely subpar.
Yeah, I don't think it aged that well.
No.
Maybe
I just don't like Zack Snyder. But
I don't like Zack Snyder.
It came off as like pretentious, but also like if a teenager were to write a rated R movie at the same time, which is weird. But the show is like leaps and bounds ahead of every aspect of the movie, and that's 1 episode.
Just 1 episode, yeah. We just started it.
Even 5 minutes is like better than the entire 3 hours of the movie we watch.
That opening is so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, wow. What?
Like, okay. Everything just looks better. It looks like it takes itself seriously. I'm in on this one.
Also, it's stuff that like applies.
Exist, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like relevant. It's not like it's like just there.
Yeah, like where the first one is kind of a criticism of the superhero genre, like it starts off and like there's a law that gets passed where cops have to wear masks because they're worried about people like killing cops. And like the cops have to like call into the station to like get the safety off of their gun. And it's like this is like stuff that like could have happened like if this was
Yeah.
an alternate reality. Like it's like you're starting to see people like talk about this. It's not for the better or the worse or whatever. We don't want to get political on the Boy Time podcast.
Did I
except
hear
for
politics?
except for the episode that we explicitly did.
There's like 3 political episodes in the past like 2 months we've done.
Well, just when the election was going on.
It's relevant.
Election, a couple other things. I don't remember.
Nothing was happening except an election.
Yeah.
So,
Go see if you can find the episodes. Go and watch them.
Well, you can find
See
them,
for
just-
yourself.
you can find them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just look for the one that was after November 3rd.
Yeah.
But, suffice it to say, the show is like way more relevant than the one that takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I especially like, without giving too much away, like I'm not going to give anything away, but like in the first episode, it's so like cool that you get to see like the Rorschach mask come back and it's been like adopted by this like white supremacist group. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that for sure because a white supremacist group just took a cartoon of a frog and turned that into a thing. So it's like, well, I mean, Rorschach, whatever. I'm not going to get into the intricacies of Watchmen, but
I grasp what's happening, and I like half watched a movie, so
yeah,
I know what's going on even without that. So
which I wanted to bring up. I got my hands on the book, and
Ooh,
the book,
got a reader.
well, it's a graphic novel, but
Even better.
there's aspects of it where it is just words.
graphic novels.
Hey, well, it says it's one of Time Magazine's top 100 best novels on the cover.
Times Magazine says it's good.
Yeah, so, I mean, if Time Magazine said it, then it's
So-
got to be true.
Something you have to read says something you have to read is good. I don't know, man.
That is a good point. I never considered that. But, going back, I haven't read very much. I'm probably about like 50 pages in. It looks to be like around 300 pages, maybe. I don't know. That's a rough estimate.
Yeah.
But it's a big boy. And it just because I watched the movie yesterday, I'm starting to see how much Zack Snyder didn't do anything.
No artistic integrity from this man.
There are shots in the graphic novel that are recreated in the movie,
Yeah.
which, some people would be like, "Oh, that's cool. He's being, faithful to the source."
It was spotty, and it would like randomly show up instead of just like ripping it completely off. There's tasteful ways to do that stuff.
Like let me pull up an example here. Like remember the scene where Rorschach goes into Night Owl's house and he's eating beans?
Yeah.
Beans.
That scene is taken straight out of the book. Like down to the words. Let me see if I can find it. But I'll like read some of the dialogue to you, and like it's kind of like wide, like this whole scene is just taken straight. Okay, so he sees him in there, and then he's like, "Got hungry waiting. Help myself to some beans. Hope you don't mind." Rorschach? No, of course I don't mind. You want me to heat those up for you or anything? No need. Fine like this. So, long time no see. How have you been keeping? Out of prison so far. Take a look at this. Slams over the pin with the blood on it. What is it? Is that little stain? Is that bean juice or? That's right, human bean juice. Badge belonged to the comedian Blood too. He's dead. Like that is all straight from the movie. And like
Just gave someone a functioning camera and said, "Make this into a movie."
pretty much. So that guy is like in charge of the DCEU now, or the DC Cinematic Universe.
DC's always been kind of like, yikes.
Yeah.
But
For the most part, they'll
I don't like movies that much, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan of good movies. Superhero movies don't often fit in that bubble.
Not often, no.
There's a few, and
There are.
ironically, some of them are DC movies, like
The Batman.
the
trilogy.
Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy is great.
Yeah.
I even like the Tim Burton one from 1989, the one with Jack Nicholson as the Joker. That one's pretty good. It's campy and a little dark, but it's good.
Yeah.
You know, here's fingers crossed for the new Batman movie, by the way. And Joker, you know, it is Taxi Driver, but it's still pretty good.
Still pretty good though. So.
Yeah. Like I will say, I thought it was funny. There's a movie reviewer guy that I really like named Ralph the Movie Maker, and he made a video that like kind of tore into the movie. Like he's not a fan of the DC Cinematic Universe. I'm not either, but I enjoyed Joker because I don't think it's really a part of that, and it doesn't really feel like that at all. But he kind of tore it apart as essentially being a Scorsese movie, which it like is like shockingly close to Taxi Driver. Like I won't get too far into like the comparison, but if you've seen Taxi Driver and you've seen Joker, yeah, they're pretty g-dang similar. But I'll just say that like up until that point, I had like only heard praise, and I was down in Savannah when that review came out, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, you know, I can still like the movie. This review did kind of point some stuff out that I had never seen before, but yeah, you know, I still like it. But
outside of reviews, but
well, yeah, but also it's important to get like an objective view. You know, got to challenge your opinion sometimes. But I remember I was on the bus, and like that night that I had seen the review, and I saw someone. I think it was actually close to Halloween because someone walked in, like dressed as Joker, which I jokingly thought to myself that they were going to shoot up the bus because that was the you know.
when the movie came out.
That was a thing. You would have to be there, you know. But I remember they sat down, and then someone next to them was like, that movie wasn't that good. It's pretty much Taxi Driver. And I was like, yeah, I've seen the Ralph the Movie Maker thing too. So, yeah.
I'm glad I didn't go to an art school because I realized how much I hate like art kids. Because it's just a matter of like, I know more than you, idiot.
Yeah, some of them are like that.
But,
Some of them are like cool people. Like I met a lot of like really like genuine and like, you know, interested in the art form people. But I also met a lot of pretentious douchebags. So yeah, it's a double side to the coin, I guess.
I don't get that. Good old Midwest, so I'm good.
That is good. I think I was the only one from the Midwest that I had met. Actually no, I met someone from Kansas City.
Oh.
But that was it. I had never met anyone from Iowa, and everybody kept thinking I was from Idaho. So
That's a common misconception.
it surprisingly is. Yeah, I don't know why Idaho is more heard of.
I don't know. I mean, both states that nobody knows about geographically or cares about, so they can kind of.
All I know is one makes potatoes and one makes corn, and they usually get them confused.
Well, the thing about Iowa is that we have a pretty like famous caucus. Like once every 4 years.
It's famous for like 2 days, and everyone completely forgets Iowa exists.
Yeah, I know, but like you'd think that those 2 days would like it's more of
and
an
they're
impact
usually
than
pretty
never
mad that
hearing
we're
about
so important
Idaho.
because we're just a random Midwest state.
Yeah, I know. I don't get why we
So they
have the
want to
caucus
forget.
either. Stop getting mad at me.
It makes us important. It makes us feel good.
I think it's actually in our state constitution that our caucus has to be first. So if any other state goes first, then we have to move ours forward.
It's just like dibs.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you guys don't like it, why don't you force our state to change our constitution?
I don't think they care enough.
Well,
Probably not.
actually, I've heard that it's kind of a point of contention between other states because it's like, why are you always first? You always steal the headline with having the first caucus. And it's like, fair. I don't know why we
Give-
have it.
Screen time though, like it's Iowa.
Yeah,
Who-
we hear
who-
about New York
Who
all the time.
deserves
Yeah,
who
like,
deserves it
Iowa's-
more? Nebraska? There's like 2 people in Nebraska who will even watch the TV and say, "Hey, we're on the news."
Whoa.
people in Nebraska have a TV, so
Wow. You know, Omaha exists.
Omaha is all of Nebraska.
That's true.
Pretty much.
That's true. I'll say it. That's true. Yeah, I don't get it. Whatever.
I like making fun of other states because most of the states in this country are awful. So we can all just be like,
Except-
"Hey, your state sucks, but my state also sucks."
Yeah. What about Maine? Is there anything wrong with Maine? I hope not.
They got seafood. They're close to Canada. They have an ocean next to them. I think they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
It does look nice.
Yeah. So,
There's got to be something. Maine isn't perfect.
On my state tier list,
Gotta be
Maine's
some-
like probably a B, maybe an
what is an S tier state?
A. Ooh,
Alaska,
Like
because
Oregon?
nothing happens there. No.
I would say Oregon maybe.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah,
Are they-
Georgia's probably S or A.
Really, Georgia?
Georgia.
Why Georgia?
It's, I don't know. It seems nice. You got cities and country. Of course,
Uh-oh.
you can get deep south there, so it might knock it down a peg.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I was thinking Georgia. It's and I lived there for Pete's
Cool,
sakes.
too. So
Is
don't know.
Oregon the one that decriminalized every drug?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're S tier. That's pretty
Oregon's
awesome.
S tier. I don't know. Colorado might be S tier too.
Yeah, I've never been west. I don't know. So I can't
Like the
say.
states that are like not super popular, but like are kind of like afterthoughts that are usually the
Hmm.
best ones.
Yeah, 'cause
So you can go.
I was just gonna say, cause like everybody's like going to Florida or like New York or California
You
or Texas,
Texas.
but you know who's gonna go to Washington State? I am.
Washington could be sick.
Oh wait, is it Washington? Washington's on top, right?
Yeah, it's on top of
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah, that one would be nice. Well, Oregon would be nice too. I don't know.
I mean, it rains a lot, but like you can deal with rain. Get a lot of
yeah.
other stuff. So
That would be
So
well. Actually, it would be not nice to nature walk in if it's rainy all the time. Be
you can
muddy.
get used to it.
Be muddy. Okay, Paul, go.
Okay, so I had to make sure that in our eyes, Maine was not the perfect state, so I had to Google the bad parts of Maine.
Okay.
don't ruin.
I don't know. According to isoldmyhouse.com, I don't know if they're trustworthy, but cons of Maine are lack of diversity, mostly old people and retirees, and the worst winters in the U.S.
Well, that
Probably
does
not counting
surprise me.
Alaska, but
Yeah, Alaska is just nighttime all the time in winter. I don't know how you can get worse than
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if you're born in it, you're probably used to it, and if you go down
Yeah.
here, you're like, what the frick?
What? Why is the sun out? It's December.
We should have like 18 hours of dark. I need my 18 hours of sleep.
What the frick? Wait, does
I can't
Alaska
do this.
does Alaska have 24 hours of darkness on the solstice? Does anyone know
I don't think so. I
Might be
think that's
close.
like the extremes of the poles. I think
Yeah.
they get like at most like 20 hours or something.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's open up Google
I
again.
don't think it's too like crazily different as like we say it is. I mean, it's different, but it's not like you're just like
Well,
shrouded in darkness for 5 months.
it's like all the way on the north though. It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
close.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's the same latitude as like Siberia is.
Okay.
hmm
Okay, so maybe it is as crazy as we thought, because apparently there's there's an area in, I'm guessing, like the northernmost part of Alaska, but they have a period where they go 2 months without sun.
Oh heck yeah.
Whoa.
So
Yeah, Maine does not
this
have
most
the worst
southern part
winters.
of right here, shortest
Yeah,
day in
these-
Alaska. Let's see what this says. Anchorage.
Oh.
Their shortest day with longest night is 5 hours 28 minutes. Sunrise
Okay.
10:14 a.m. Sunset 3:42 p.m.
That's crazy. Okay, I think Anchorage is the cap. No, Juneau's the capital.
Oh, Juneau. Juneau was 6 hours 22 minutes.
Okay.
I thought Anchorage was the capital.
Anchorage, I think, is
That's
the
how
biggest
little I
city.
look at
It's the
Alaska.
biggest city, I think.
Yeah.
Man, why isn't the biggest city the capital? It just makes sense.
I don't know. LA is not the capital of California.
What?
Yeah. Isn't it
No one told me this.
Sacramento?
Yeah, it's Sacramento. Sacramento, California.
Sacramento.
Probably the least known biggest city in Alaska. Or not, California.
Yeah.
Orlando isn't the capital of Florida.
Well, even New York isn't the capital of New York.
What?
Albany.
Impossible.
What? Oh, we've been going for an hour 26.
Dang, Daniel.
Yeah. White Vaniels.
White Vaniel.
So, does anyone have any closing remarks that they would like to say?
It's pretty
Happy
cold
Hanukkah.
outside.
Yeah, it is.
Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, happy Hanukkah, of course.
Shana.
Yes.
It's a different holiday, but I like saying it.
I don't know when Rosh Hashanah is. Is
I
that in
don't
the
know, but
summer?
Every time of year. I think it's September.
Oh. Well, happy Hanukkah. When is Kwanzaa?
I don't know. There's like 3 different Kwanzaas.
It starts on December 26th and ends on January 1st.
Okay, next week we can say Happy Kwanzaa.
Okay.
Believe it or not, we
Pretty-
don't know too much about Jewish holidays.
Kwanzaa is an African holiday.
We're not Jewish or African.
is?
So
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, now you know.
now you know.
I know.
Holiday knowledge.
I don't know what it means or what it's for, but I know that it's
Only
African.
there was
I gotta look this up.
Kwanzaa derived from the phrase
I
Mutanda ya
spelled it terribly.
Kwanzaa, which means first fruits in Swahili.
Wait, is it like that? Anyways, it starts December 26th and ends January 1st.
I
Well,
just
we'll
said that.
we'll wish Happy Kwanzaa next week.
Oh, wait.
Oh, it's an African American. I thought it was like straight up like African like traditional thing. No, it's like it's African. I mean, maybe it is.
There's parts of
let me read
Africa,
It's
I
African
think.
tradition.
Celebrates African heritage, unity, and culture. Nice.
Cool beans. Happy
Giving
preemptive
gifts.
Kwanzaa.
Next episode on
To
Christmas.
Kwanzaa by like.
oh yeah, we're
week
recording
and a
this on
half.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? Oh,
Well, next Thursday.
next. Yeah.
Interview with Santa.
It's just Eve. Oh no.
We're gonna interview a Santa denier in the flesh.
Oof.
Kill him.
Cringe.
Cringe.
Man, it would be like talking to an atheist. It's like, oh,
Bro.
I can't take your
Yikes.
stupidity. So,
Anyways.
3?